Inspiration, I say to myself once again. Oh, where art thou, my friend of yesterday, and the deserter of this moment? At a time like this, my mind always goes back to what I know to be real and permanent in my life. My mind took me on a journey of remembrance of what I have experienced so far in my spiritual awakening and the planting of the seeds from the divine source. I looked at the rain falling on the earth outside my French windows, and I thought about the watering can that holds the spiritual water that Divine Mother Father pours upon us throughout our lives. My mind flashed back into the early stages of my spiritual awakening, around 30 years for the first example and 15 years for the second example. First example: divine intervention. You are never alone. Having visited the local spiritual church where I was called upon to define my art in giving messages to the general public of philosophy and clairvoyance. In fact, philosophy and clairvoyance was normal to me, as was living and breathing. On my drive home on that Thursday evening from the local church, I was driving up the country roads, and as normal putting my foot down to the metal. I caught myself thinking about what somebody had spoken about in the church, that a particular person was a psychic vampire, and as being a psychic vampire they were after stifling and blowing out my energy so they could use it for their own advantage. When thinking about this, I was beginning to get quite annoyed and upset with myself. How could somebody want to take my energy away from me, which is for the betterment of all people? It is not to be hijacked by some psychic vampire, I thought. So thinking about this and driving my car quite fast, I was approaching a stretch of the road that I know quite well, so my mind was not concentrating on driving properly. Approaching me on the right hand side of the road there was a very large lamppost. It must have been about 30 feet in height. As I approached this lamppost, the lamppost started to change shape. Yes, it started to change its shape and height. It changed shape to that of an energy being. Yes, an energy being with a head and a body, and it shimmered white, silver light. Am I seeing things? I thought to myself. The answer came, no, this is real. We are here with you. The voice appeared inside my being, outside my being, in the car. The very essence of who I am shuddered with the energy of the voice and the energy of the divine unseen. You are not alone, dear Denis, fear not. No harm will come to you. We will see to that. You will not be affected by the other energies of what you think are energy vampires. You have never been alone. You will never be alone. We have your back, as we have the back of all those who work in the essence of divine love. I was trying to get my mind and my heart to understand what had just been said to me. I was also feeling the physical effects of pins and needles throughout my body. I call this my spiritual orgasm. My body was vibrating to the words, to the energy of the unseen. It was though I was plugged into the national electrical supply. Any more of this feeling, I would certainly be fried on the spot. The energy had not finished with me. A powerful white light came into the car. The white light engulfed me. I could not see where I was driving. I could not see my hands on the steering wheel. My thoughts was, slow down, Denis. Take your foot off the gas. However, I did not slow down. I did not take my foot off the gas. It was though somebody was driving the car. Somebody was steering the car. operating the gears and at the same time accelerating and braking round the corners. The feeling, the power, the thoughts were all raging through my physical mind at what is happening. However, I felt at peace with all the incident. I felt loved, protected, and cocooned by what I've come to understand is the source we call Spirit, God. Oh, I love that light. It felt like love. Yes, love from the divine. When everything returned to normal, when I'd regained my composure and my thinking, my car was parked outside my garage with the engine turned off. How did I get here? What invisible force had brought me to my home? What had just happened? A peace came about me that you could only define as just pure love. So moving myself quickly from the car into the house so I could quickly pull myself a large brandy to settle my nerves. And that it is when it truly hit me. The voice once more. You are never alone. We have got your back. You are waking up. Welcome home. Welcome to the full realization that you can see, feel and communicate with us. We are your brothers and sisters, and we will show ourselves to you in ways that you can recognize us. And when the time is right for you, you'll be given opportunities through the voice and film and through your technical software to relay messages to your brothers and sisters on your plane of existence. Wow. The second example. I was particularly going through a bad time in my life. I just returned back from Spain after the bank collapsing and taking all my money. Returning back to England was the only way forward. However, it had its advantages, spiritually speaking. One of the advantages spiritually was I started to see the invisible people with my physical eyes as though they were standing in front of me. In fact, they were standing in front of me. This is part of the gift that still remains with me at this present time in my life. It was then when, on one of my visits to the local spiritual church, I had visited the church so I could receive inspiration from the philosophy and from the clairvoyant medium who was taking the service for that evening. I was feeling quite upset with the world at large. My world at large, actually. The medium came on to do his address, then he went into the clairvoyant messages. Personally, I would rather listen to the philosophy, for when you've heard one message, you've heard them all, clairvoyant-wise. I loved the philosophy. He was talking about the Christ vibration, which at that time was very appealing to me, for little did I know the Christ vibration would be a big part of my spiritual development. As I was looking around the church and at the people sat there listening or not listening, fidgeting and talking in whispers to their friends, I was thinking, why am I here? Why am I here once again was going through my mind. At the same time, I was once again scanning the people in front of me. For I was sat with my back against the back wall and viewing everything in front of me. I was scrutinising the very room, trying to find some glee of happiness to why I was there. And then it happened right in front of my physical eyes. A spiritual form was building up in front of me. However, this form that represented a physical body was materializing in front of me right before my eyes. I watched with intensity, trying not to blink. My eyes were as wide as the Grand Canyon. My breath was still. And then once again the feeling, the calmness, the realization that the energy had built up in front of me in the form of a Native American guide that was helping the medium. He was magnificent, around 6 foot tall, slender, fit, well-muscled, a toned body, a chiseled face, and one feather protruding from his headband, a breastplate. A knife was positioned in his belt around his waist. He stood there in all his glory and just smiled at me. I turned round to look at all the church people, wondering if they could see this beautiful entity before my eyes. I even asked the person next to me if they could see what I could see. They looked at me like I was on my own planet. No, they could not see what I could see. I asked the other person next to me, and once again, no came back the answer. They couldn't see either. It was then when the voice spoke out once again, like it did when I was driving my car many years ago. Only you can see me. Only you can hear these words. Why, you may ask? Well, it is simple. You are awakened. You have the eyes to see, the mind and the heart to interpret, and the wisdom to understand. It is for your benefit that I materialize in front of you to let you know once again that we are right here with you, our divine brother of ours. You are not alone. You have never been alone. We ask you one thing. Keep your mind open, keep your heart pure, and keep working for the benefit of all, for we will return in ways that you can see and understand in the future. However, for now, the message is clear. The messages of love, patience, understanding, the rest will be explained to you when needed. Now rest in peace, brother. I will now go back to being invisible. Wow. As the vision before my eyes started to fade and the feeling of normality eased back into my body, I began to count my blessings once again. I was reminded that we are more than just the physical flesh that we are part of right now, right here, having this realization on Mother Earth. Footnote. I was searching for inspiration this afternoon, and in turn I find that I'm sharing part of my journey with you all. Instead of looking for inspiration for myself, I'm hopefully giving inspiration to those of you who may be suffering, maybe having second doubts of why you are here, maybe going through a hard time physically, financially, emotionally. Please, may I say this to you all. You are not alone. There is an energy that loves you tremendously and would hope that you recognize it in every waking minute of your life. Now I'm beginning to feel the emotion building up behind my eyes. I think my eyes are leaking. So I am connected to you, you are connected to me, and it's from my heart I share this. Love, Denis. P.S. More experiences to follow if anybody is interested.